Now, here's a very interesting topic that somebody else brought up. Even though I've talked about this before, I think it's still pretty cool that a lot of ladies are starting to question this because they really want to know the answers to this. So let's get into it. But first and foremost, what's up, y'all? Marcus Frazier from Teachable Tuesdays, here to motivate you, encourage you, and inspire you to be a better you. Thank you for joining me today. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. If you could, please hit the like button, subscribe button. Make sure you stay up to date with all of my future Teachable Tuesday videos. And the question for today comes from a thread by babyface_Mills. So shout out to her. And she says, fellas, after you shoot your shot and rejection happens, are you uninterested in speaking to the woman anymore, or you still don't mind being friends with them? I think it's a very good question. Again, shout out to her. I think a lot of ladies are really genuinely wondering why this is the case. And the reason being, let me get down to the bottom of this before I get to my personal opinion on the matter, and then we're going to read some comments, is because men and women, for the most part, I'm not going to say always, but for the most part, they approach these situations differently. So a man will not necessarily take rejection as a way of, hey, we can still be friends afterwards. No. 8 times out of 10, if a man gets rejected, or friend zone as they call it, he will not be open to being in a friendship with that woman because he's always going to want more. And I've talked about this on this channel before, but it's true. It's very, very true. As opposed to ladies, for the most part, not all ladies, but they're a little more open to, oh, well, I don't mind still being his friend. It's whatever. In my personal matter, I feel like for both men and women, it might not be a good idea to be friends with that person afterwards because you're always going to want more. I think the thing about it is, and some people might question, well, Marcus, what if you've been friends for a long time and feelings develop? And it's true. That does happen. It's happened to me. It's happened to a lot of people that I know. In that case, once you open up that can of worms, you take a risk. Because I know some people will say, well, I could just go back to being friends respectfully afterwards. But that's kind of a tough call. And even if you are able to be friends with them, it's not really going to be the same, right? That's why I'm a firm believer for my fellas that once you notice that you like a woman, especially early on, and you guys aren't even technically friends yet, say something, right? Because the longer you wait, the more likely she might be thinking that you're not feeling her, and she might be feeling you off the back. Or it's going to be a bit more devastating because you bided all that time, as opposed to if you say something up front and the answer is no, it's like, okay, well, no love lost. It is what it is. But let's go ahead and read a few of these comments and see what some people think. So Camardo says, what's there to talk about? I don't need any woman as friends. Wasn't talking before. Why start after you rejected me? Makes zero sense. And I can understand that viewpoint. I feel where he's coming from. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you rejected me, I mean, hey, it's no hard feelings, but it's one of those things where I'm just moving on with my business, right? Animated author says, in my opinion, some women like to see what you're about. Some might test you too. Shoot your shot, get rejected, and then disappear. She's going to already know you were there just for some nookie. Okay, so let me just put this out there. That's not necessarily true as far as the second part. I do agree with the first part. I think some women might test you, you know what I'm saying, just to gauge to see where you're at. But not every guy is necessarily just out there only looking for the physical aspect from a woman. You know what I'm saying? We got to go ahead and clear the air on that. And ladies, anybody who, tests guys like that, it's not a good test. You might be pushing away your husband. Just saying. Let's see what else. Live and Direct 001 says, listen to me clearly. If I come to you, madam, to shoot my shot, if I position myself to shoot my shot from deep and it hits rim or air balls, you think we're still friends? Nah, shorty. I shot my shot with an intention of being more than just a friend. Why would I regulate myself to the zone of friendship, huh? Now you're kidding me. Yeah, yeah, if I'm shooting my shot and I miss, or whatever the case may be, it's like, well, at least it was a try. But in my opinion, I'm not going to necessarily settle for, second best in a situation where I want it to be the best. So I feel exactly where he's coming from. Ambitious Aboriginal says, uninterested, too many women friends that I have already. And this might cause problems when the right one arrives. Interesting take. Okay. Let's see. Borrow Menno 77 says, men who play the numbers game will treat that woman the same because she didn't mean anything to him than a shot in the dark. But a normal man for real about who his heart desires ain't taking it lightly and won't be hanging around. So really that's her one shot as well. And I mean, like, when you look at it from that perspective, you know, I think regardless if he's genuinely interested or, you know, just interested in something casual, most men are not going to, you know, be like, oh, okay, that's not a big deal. No, they're gonna, you know, they might feel some type of way about it and just move on about life. You know, they'll feel disappointed. Now, just like I did in one of my past videos this last week, I don't agree with men who, you know, when they get rejected, they treat it in a negative manner and become disrespectful to the woman. That's not something that you want to do. You don't want to be disrespectful to a woman. You take it to the chin, and you just go about your business. But a man is going to naturally feel disappointed, and he doesn't want to be regulated to the friend zone. So I feel that. Let's read a few more of these. So Tavon Lauren has something very interesting he says. He says, not particularly, but at 35, I'm changing. It depends heavily on how it's done. If she seems nice/respectful and expresses that she doesn't have the time/capacity, I wouldn't mind being friendly. Notice I said friendly, not friends. Friendly, meaning being cordial. Because number one, a great genuine people don't come. They're a dime a dozen. Two, women do change like the weather. The number of women who have come to me after soft rejecting initially me is insane. Just pull your number, play it cool, and see what happens. That's a pretty interesting take. I think that every guy should always be in a play it cool type of situation because you never know what could transpire. Although I know for me, I'm going to play it cool. I'm going to be cordial. But for me, like, once you've tried to put me in a friend zone, I'm not pursuing you again. Only because I know what it feels like to be genuinely desired. And I always tell guys about that, and ladies too, that you want somebody that genuinely desires you. You don't want somebody that comes along later on. Now, I know some ladies are going to be like, well, Marcus, you know, women can change. And yes, feelings do change. Feelings are forever fleeting. I get that. But then the guy has to think later on, well, did you have something else going on? Which is a good chance you might have. And you want to come around, you know, later on down the road when that said thing didn't work out. Now, I'm not saying every woman is like that, but there are plenty of situations that have been like that. I've experienced that, you know, where, you know, ladies would be like, oh, well, and it wasn't a situation like where they had a boyfriend. If they had a boyfriend, that's a whole different story. Like, I dated somebody one time for quite a bit of time where, you know, the only reason she didn't come after me was because she had a boyfriend at the time. When I asked her on the date, she said, I'm sorry, you know, I have a boyfriend. She broke up with said dude, and like 4 months later, she hollered at me, and I was cool with it because at the time being, she had a boyfriend. So to me, that showed two things. Number one, she's faithful, and number two, you know, she was preoccupied, you know. But if you don't have a boyfriend and, you know, you're just, you know, not really interested, you come back around when that said thing doesn't work out, and it wasn't, you know, actual relationship type of thing, not so much, right? That's just me. Truly Custom says, if I want you romantically, why would I be your friend? Facts. Feelings just don't go away, so I'm not going to lie to a chick. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I've told a woman before that, hey, you know, I appreciate you wanting to be friends, but I think that would be very disingenuous. I think we can be cordial, but friends is not something that I would necessarily call us, you know? Let's read it like about 2 or 3 more of these. Smooth Cosplayer says, if current me was single, I'm not shooting my shot. Put myself out there, mustering up the courage, risking rejection for friendship. Have I had some friendships over the years that were the result of a rejected shot? Sure, but they're the exception to the rule, and they rarely become close friends. I have plenty of healthy women friendships, and they all happen organically and are either former co-workers, church members, or we met through hobbies, not women I shoot my shot with. Exactly. I couldn't have said this better, because I have quite a few women friends as well. But like you said, they were through mutual gatherings, church, band, college, colleagues that became friends. I don't necessarily consider every colleague a friend per se, and so on and so forth. If I shoot my shot with you and it fails, then no, it's not going to work out. Now, I will say there are rare exceptions like this guy. I've had 2 occasions with women that are friends of mine where the shot was taken and it didn't reach the net. But for both of these, we both had a conversation and came to a mutual agreement that, hey, this, it would just be best to be friends. One of them, actually, no, I lied, 3. 2 of them, we had an actual date. One was just so far that I was just like, I'm gonna just keep you as a friend. I kind of friend zoned her. The other one was, it was just a mutual understanding that this ain't gonna go no further than just being friends. And then the other one, we genuinely liked each other. But the problem was she had been through so much during that time, so much damage from a previous relationship that we just kind of realized, you know what? I kind of friend zoned myself. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I'm not going to pursue her. I could have. And I remember we had a conversation and she was literally one day like, you are everything that I was looking for in a man. But the problem was at the time being I was so damaged, I knew I wouldn't have been good for you. And I respected her honesty. And at that point, did I find her attractive? Yes, I'm going to be very honest. But at the same time, I didn't really have a desire to pursue her. And, maybe something could have worked out then and there if that was the case. But, who knows? But I say all that to say that he's right and I'm with him 100% of that. We're going to read 2 more and then we're going to be done for the day. Twist Miganda says, you can be interested in someone for a relationship but not a friendship and vice versa. If a flirt doesn't end the way you want it, doesn't mean you're obligated to be friends with it. Yeah, that's true. That's very, very true. That's very, very true. And we're going to read 1 more. Alejandro, IP95, says, no, just to be clear, I have a good friendship with an ex-girlfriend because she was more value and support me than my family. This is an exception to the rule. So again, guys, this is an exception to the rule. Number 2, I don't like begging for any attention. Number 3, oh, Jesus. He didn't hold back. He said, I want to be physical with you. And that's putting it PG version. Why would I want to be your friend? Oh, Jesus. And ladies, this is just a reminder that every guy, regardless if he wants something genuine with you or not, he wants to be physical with you. I'm just putting it out there, okay? I know you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, Marcus. No, I'm telling the honest truth. But I feel him. Let's go back to number 2. He says, I don't like begging any attention, period. I feel that. I don't like being, as Destiny's Child would call back in the day, a bugaboo. So, like, if you're not interested, I'm just like, okay, cool. And then number 3, he said, I want to be physical. Why would I want to be your friend? Yeah, that's factual. That's factual. And then also, what a lot of men also realize, I'm going to just end it at this point, is that when you are not giving him that time of day or whatever, and you friend zone him, best believe you're giving it to somebody else. Now, at the end of the day, let's just make it perfectly clear. A woman has every right to not to be more than friends with you. That's perfectly fine. But ladies, you also have to understand that men have that very right to not want a friendship. And I don't hear this from a lot of ladies, but I do hear it from a few that are like, well, you didn't want nothing in the first place and blah, blah, this and blah, blah, that. No, it's not that he didn't want nothing. He wanted something more than a friend. And you offered it on a base level what you wanted, but he didn't want the same thing. So because it wasn't reciprocated, he dipped out and found somebody else. And that's fair. And ladies, I would expect you to do the same thing. If a guy rejects you, I'm not expecting you to stick around. No. Find somebody who's not going to reject you. Just putting it out there. All right? Marcus Frazier from Teachable Tuesdays here to motivate you, encourage you, and inspire you to be a better you. Thank you for joining me today. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. As always, please hit the like button, subscribe button, stay up to date with future Teachable Tuesdays content, and I'll catch you in the future.